Leaving unhealthy relationships and situations. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. This quote by Anais Nin, I feel like it really sums up the process of what happens when we start to grow and our soul starts to, want to align with our human self here on earth, and describes the process of like being in that bud, and then it just it just becomes too painful to play small, and then we just find that we are willing to take that risk and to open, but a bud, it just opens slowly and naturally, and it's not, it's never forced. So this is a very natural yet yet painful process. And I think one of the conundrums of we've been brainwashed to be codependent, and so you are likely attracted by other narcissists, and it can be, for example, if you're in a relationship, if your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or whatever has narcissistic traits, and you might find yourself in the beginning just sort of going along with things and not having your needs met, and that just feels very familiar. And so, maybe you feel a little bit of annoyance or a little bit of irritation. And then over the years, that might grow into like a frustration, into then, like really feeling angry about these things. And so as we become, it's just and who knows where, why that starts to happen or when that starts to happen, but, suddenly the things that felt okay for us are no longer feeling okay. And so in the beginning of the awakening process, you might be experiencing a lot of frustration. That's a very common one. You may not even be labeling it as anger yet. It might be easier just to say, frustration. And a lot of confusion. There's a lot of confusion because you might be wondering, well, why isn't this person, wanting to meet my needs? I don't get it. It just can be absolutely baffling as to why someone who you believe loves you is not willing to do even maybe simple things to meet your needs. Because as highly sensitive people and as an empath, you probably just don't get it that that there are other people in the world that aren't that sensitive and that really don't have that capacity. And I was like that for a long time. I think I really believed that that my husband was a good, well, not, I don't want to use the word good because that's not the right word, but I really believed that, why wouldn't he be loving me, and why wouldn't he be doing these things? Because so in the beginning, it's frustration and confusion. And then as you grow even more, it might even just turn into just really a lot of like, almost like anguish, and where you really feel like, you're really starting to feel like when your partner or your mother or whoever it is behaving in these ways, it really starts to feel not good for you at all. And you'll just start to feel more angry. You'll just naturally start to set boundaries for yourself, because now you're loving yourself and you're getting more attuned with yourself. And for me, it was literally just like one day, it was literally like that I'd hit that wall, and I could not spend another day with my husband at that time. And yeah, it just, I couldn't have left a day earlier, and I couldn't have stayed a day more. It was really that, felt like that kind of, yeah, the same as the flower that opens when it opens. And it, yeah, and so yeah, I guess the thing is, I guess the conundrum that I was trying to explain is that we actually fear at that point, towards the end of the last couple of years that I was with my husband at that time, was that, I was getting to the point where I really didn't want to live with him, but I also was terrified because I thought I couldn't live without him. So then it became a real big inner conflict. And this inner conflict, I think, was also coming through in my outer world through some of the actions that my husband was doing. And so that, it was just reflecting the inner conflict that I was having of this, like, I want to leave, but I don't feel like I can leave. And what do I do? And so for a long time, I just went back and forth and back and forth, like, so painful, such a painful time. And then, as I said, like at one point, it was just like, boom, I gotta leave now, and that's it, I'm done. And I left. And so I feel like this is just the process that happens. And the fear, that abandonment fear of leaving, is very, very real. It's not true, because this is also a conditioning. This is also, we are conditioned to feel like we depended solely on our parents, that they were the only ones that could meet our needs. And so we also repeat this in other relationships, where like, he is the one or she is the one, and if I leave, I'm never going to find anybody else. Or and this can be very subconscious, or I literally can't live without this person. And so yeah, it's really important to understand that also was conditioning from the narcissistic parent we had, that we became dependent on them to tell us our reality, to tell us how we felt, to tell us, who we were. And so, yeah, leaving is absolutely terrifying. And at that time, you'll probably start to experience a lot of anxiety. So, the frustration is gone, but now it's like anxiety and grief are coming up. And it may be, when I left my husband, I think I describe it kind of like I had a closet full of all these feelings. Like, if you can imagine, like a messy closet, just jam packed, this is like all the repressed emotions that have been in there for like years and years and years. And leaving him also brought up other grief, I'm pretty sure. And so, like, anxiety and grief and depression and all these things, it was just so overwhelming, because yeah, it was just like a closet full of stuff. And so in the beginning, like, trying to figure out even what I was feeling when I was feeling, and so many different things at the same time, it's just absolutely overwhelming. But gradually and slowly, like cleaning out that closet, you take out one thing at a time, and you take out one thing, and that's what a healing is like. It's just like taking that one thing out of the closet and then another. And it takes time to like empty that out and like clear those feelings out. And this process will probably happen, again and again, with other relationships and situations. For me, leaving, going no contact with my family didn't bring up a lot of feelings, but for other people, it probably does. So it really depends on your situation. But for me, leaving this last job it was very similar to that feeling. It was, again, that where I had reached that point where the the fear of staying became greater than the fear of leaving. And so, yeah, I left. I just woke up one morning and thought, I'm done. I can't go back. And that was it. And so, I don't know what you call this point, but it's just like a turning point. And I think it just, if you're doing the work and you're starting to work on yourself and do your own healing and start loving yourself and start setting boundaries, this process will just naturally happen. And so, yeah, just like a flower, you are blossoming and blooming in just the right timing. And really everything, and then the patience that it takes to wait to fill those voids is also can be very, very difficult. After I left my husband, it was like I lost an arm or something. It was like I really felt this huge, huge void, this huge emptiness. And so, yeah, it's a very difficult thing to sit through. And I let go of friends too that were just not willing to respect boundaries. And so that again left another void. Suddenly now I don't have, I don't have a partner, don't have friends, and it's a very lonely and difficult time, a spiritual awakening. And I think this is just again a necessary part of the process, and learning how to be with yourself and not being entirely dependent on someone else, and losing yourself in a relationship just to keep that relationship. So yeah, I feel like having this solitude and time for myself has been so key in this healing process. And yeah, just learning who I am and what I value, and having time to like go into deep contemplation and meditation and feeling like my true self. And it is, yeah, it is quite a process. And yeah, so, and then coming out of the other side of that, I'm just feeling like you'll be in such a healthier place. And yeah, it's not going to ever be, I think, perfect. I think, I think that's important too, to understand that, yeah, this process is just a one day at a time kind of thing. And we can't be like, I kept hoping that one day I'd be like fully healed, and now I'm going to be fine and perfect. And I don't know, but it just keeps on going, I think it just gets to more and more subtle layers. And yeah, so I just wanted to kind of share that kind of process with you to maybe help you to understand a little bit about, how this awakening kind of goes, because I know, like, I never had a roadmap. I never understood what the heck was going on. So yeah, if you have any questions, I'm more than willing to answer them if I can. And your healing journey might be really very different. Everybody is very unique. So wherever you are, know that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly the right things. And I am Davina Shemaya, wishing you so many blessings on your journey of healing and awakening. And you can find me at Boldness Blooming. Have a peaceful day.